Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do an episode on a question that I get asked quite frequently, and I have touched on it in a previous episode, but it's about having another child after you have a child diagnosed as being on the spectrum. Obviously, this is a very personal question. It's quite a difficult subject to talk about, but I wanted to share my views with you about it, and I wanted to share what I did differently in my pregnancy with Luca and Naia Rose, and thought it might help you guys. Quite frankly, having a diagnosis of any type, it can be really unnerving, and it basically takes the wind out of your sails, to be honest with you. And it is hard, and it is life-changing, and it's worrying, and nobody can predict the future. You know, when I think about where I was 10 years ago and thinking about the doctor telling me that Dylan might never walk, he might never talk, you know, he might never make friends. It was like someone had punched me in the stomach, and I thought, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Autism is the social spectrum disorder. And I thought, well, if he's going to find it difficult to make friends, then I kind of need to give birth to all his friends. I need to create a bubble around my child. And these are the thoughts that I had, and I still have. And I'm very careful about who I introduce Dylan to. I'll only introduce Dylan to people who are hopefully going to be in his life forever. I wanted to create an army around Dylan. I really did. And I thought, well, the best way to do this was to have more children. When Dylan got his diagnosis, they said, are you thinking about having any more children? Now, I was 25 when I had Dylan. I didn't just want one child. I'm from a family of 4, and my siblings are my best friends without a doubt. And I wanted that for Dylan. So I was just like, yes, of course we want to have more children. And the doctor went, well, there's 18% chance that your next child, if it's a boy, interestingly enough, will be on the spectrum as well, because we already had a child on the spectrum. So I was kind of like, oh, 18% chance, like, you know, that's obviously more than none. However, to be honest, I, at that point, didn't really care, because I thought, well, at least they'll be together. And I felt that, you know, I'm not going to be around forever. Andrew's not going to be around forever, and it's going to be just Dylan. And so I wanted him to have siblings. I wanted him to have a group around him. So there was no question in my mind if I wanted to have any more children or not. But obviously there were things that I wanted to do a bit differently. So I started taking a probiotic, and I know I talk about probiotics all the time. I honestly think they are amazing. You know, Dylan's on them, all the kids are on them, we're all on it. But I took it because I had read a study that the contraceptive pill, which I had been on previously for some acne, can get rid of all the good gut bacteria in your body, and this can sometimes lead to bad bacteria going through to the child and that kind of thing. So I was like, right, take a good probiotic. I took some healthy vitamins, all that kind of stuff. So I fell pregnant, but unfortunately we miscarried that baby. And then I've never wanted anything more. I literally say to Luca all the time, I've never wanted anything more than I wanted you, because I would pray for him. I just had a diagnosis of Dylan being autistic, and then I had I'd miscarried. So it was a double whammy for me at the time. So when it again came to trying for Luca, I really did not care. I was like, I just want another baby, quite frankly. And so when Luca was born, it was the most amazing thing ever. And Luca means light after the dark, which he really was.
Dylan, is that your baby?
Gentle.
Oh, lovely. Give him a kiss. Oh, lovely. Okay. Tummy, yes. Head, yes.
Gently.
Ears, yeah. Nose, yeah. Gentle. Yeah, gentle.
What did I do differently with Luca? Again, this is quite a controversial subject, but a subject I feel needs to be spoken about. Vaccinations. People talk about vaccinations. Dylan, yes, he was vaccinated. I have not said that previously. He was vaccinated. Went along with whatever I was told to do. With Luca, we did do it slightly differently. We went to go and see a fantastic doctor. He was a GP, but he was also a holistic doctor. And he said to me that if you breastfeed exclusively for the first 6 months, that your baby gets your immunity. So I didn't vaccinate Luca for the first 6 months of his life. And then we did the alternative vaccination schedule, which is more spread out, one at a time, as opposed to 6 in 1, 3 in 1, all the rest of it. So that's what I did do differently with Luca. Whether it made a difference or not, I'm going to keep those opinions to myself, because you as parents, only you are the best person to make that decision for your child. Not me, not a doctor, not anyone. If you feel it's right for your child, you go ahead and do it. If you don't, that is totally your decision. And I think we need to be non-judgmental of other parents. I think we need to respect each other's decisions and, look after each other and say, okay, this is your baby. You created this beautiful being, or this beautiful being has come into your life if you've adopted. You have that gut instinct, so you go with that. With the vaccinations, we did the alternative vaccination schedule with Luca and Naia. So that was the difference. Dylan was almost 4 by the time I had Luca, and it was difficult. Dylan was non-verbal. He was still in nappies. I had a newborn. I was breastfeeding. It was a bit tough in the beginning, but we slowly got into a routine, and I slowly would be like, right, Luca now needs to be fed. That time, 5 o'clock, everyone gets a bit angsty. I would feed Dylan a little bit earlier. I would give him his iPad. I'd put him in front of the television on a trampoline in that time that I knew I needed to bath and get Luca ready for bed. And I slowly got my own little rhythm going on. Now, does the crying affect a child on the spectrum? It did to begin with. Dylan would put his hands over his ears, so I had his ear defenders ready. So I literally had a basket of all the things I knew Dylan liked. It was sensory toys, ear defenders, iPad. And he knew that if that happened, I would direct him, put the ear defenders on, put a television show on that he hadn't seen before. Really, in the grand scheme of things, it's such a short space of time. And it's awful because you're postpartum and you're like, your boobs are leaking and you're sore and you've got a new baby hanging on you and they're crying and your child wants you. And yes, there were times where I was covered in poop and Dylan's smearing poo on the wall and Luca had done a poo up the back, and it was just like, what am I doing? But now, after that period and after, especially after the first year, Luca became easier and Dylan actually started to really bond with his brother. And then we did things that bonded them together even more. So we did activities together that they would like. As the years went on, it was like mummy and daddy were on a team and Dylan and Luca were on a team, and it was anything that bonded them together, a bit like helping your child make friends. Structured play dates are great. If your child likes playing on a game, get the child to play the game next to him. We did that with Luca. It was all about helping their bond. And yes, there's been times where Dylan doesn't understand. There's also been times that I've had to take Luca out of a situation because Dylan was getting upset and I knew that he might lash out, he might hit Luca, which he tried to do a couple of times. And obviously, I devised plans like getting a playpen for Luca when he was crawling. I had a playpen set up with his toys so I could put Luca in the playpen and I could deal with Dylan. All about kind of balancing and the whole balancing act thing. And as Luca's got older, he's understood. There was a time when he was about 6 or 7, he didn't understand when Dylan was lashing out and he would say, "Mummy, why do you always put me in another room when, tell me to get out if Dylan's having, one of his moments." And I've had to say, well, darling, if he lashed out and hit you, then I would feel terrible. I'm doing it to protect you. And this took a while for Luca to understand. And I know in a previous episode, which I'll link below, in our play therapy episode, play therapy is fantastic and it's really good for helping siblings of children on the autistic spectrum understand their feelings. So Luca had a lot of really big feelings of, how can I love and hate someone at the same time? He loves his big brother so much, but at times he feels jealous. He feels, how come Dylan's getting the attention, not me? The other day we went for a walk. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I need to tell you this. We went for a walk and Dylan was like, I don't want to go. And I could see he was anxious. And maybe 2 times out of 10, I'll say, do you know what, Dylan, it's okay. You stay at home. You play on your iPad. I'll take the other 2 out and leave him home with his dad or something. And Luca said, well, how come Dylan can play on his iPad and I can't? And I said to him, well, actually, darling, I feel sorry for Dylan that he's not coming out. I want to give you a childhood. I want to take you on adventures. And this is what a childhood is. And so, yes, it hurts me that Dylan can't come with us, but you also deserve that time. You also deserve mummy time and to go do fun normal activities that maybe we couldn't do with Dylan, because sometimes we arrive at a destination and Dylan goes, no, not going in, I want to go home, and then everyone has to go home. Tomorrow myself and Luca are going away for a special night. Where are we going?
We're going to Birch.
No, we're not. We're going to Brighton.
You didn't tell me that.
We're going to Brighton tomorrow to see Jodie,
Oh yeah, because it's his birthday.
and we're going to see all your other friends. So it is about finding the balance, about being honest with your children. And I think if you have older children and maybe your youngest is being diagnosed, then it's quite hard for the older children, because they remember a life maybe without having the difficulties. Whereas for Luca and Naia, they know no different. So if your first child is autistic and you're thinking, should I have another one? Oh God, how am I going to cope? You will cope. You really will. Newborn stage, it's the same with every newborn, whether you have an autistic child or not, it's always going to be a challenge, but it is so worth it. And Dylan doesn't do school plays. Dylan doesn't do the first day school photographs. Well, he's getting better at that now, but we never really got to experience all those with Dylan. So for Luca and Naia, it's amazing. I remember going to the nativity play and seeing Luca, and I think I went to every one that they had, and I was just so delighted that selfishly I got that experience as well.
No, just to say it's from me.
This is from Luca.
This is a bit. Would you like me to help you?
Thank you, Luca.
I got you.
They're so cool.
Yay, they're lovely. And for Dylan, it was the best thing we ever did. He really does adore Luca. And Naia, he's getting used to. I mean, Naia has been a bit more challenging for Dylan. He's a bit like, why does she do that? And I keep trying to explain, this is what happens. And I'm also kind of preparing him for when maybe he wants kids when he's older, which we'll talk about in the next episode. And he goes, okay, so I better get used to this. And I said also, when they turn to 4 or 5, it gets easier. And so he is seeing, oh, the crying has stopped now. This is getting easier, and he sees the progress. And to be honest, I think Luca and Naia have been Dylan's best teachers. I really do. I potty trained Luca and Dylan at the same time, and Dylan started talking when Luca started talking. So really, they're quite similar ages, I think, mentally. But yeah, I just love them, and the three of them together, they're just like the best buddies. So if you are thinking of having another child, I would just say go for it. They just bring so much joy, and try and push the worries to your side. Try and push all those other things to the side. If it feels right in your heart, then I'd go for it. Anyway, guys, I really do hope this has helped. And if you have any questions, as always, please leave a comment below. I'll try and get back to you. Also on Instagram if you want to get me on there. Anyway, guys, have a great week, and I'll see you soon.